What's up, guys? Sam here. I just wanted to talk to you because a lot of you guys have been asking about weight loss, diet, and overhauling your nutrition as one of your number one goals of 2019. So, I want to give you guys just a few tools that you could take out into your daily lives that I think will help you tremendously, whether you're trying to put on muscle, lose body fat, or some sort of iteration of the two of them. So, the first mistake I see with people when they try and improve their nutrition is they don't start small. So, for whatever reason, we like to go from 0 to 60. We forget about the acceleration in between there. And like any goal, it needs to be sustainable in the long term. So, when you're looking at your nutrition, when you're looking at your weight loss strategy, it has to be a plan that you can stick with in the future. So if you hate fatty foods, but you're reading all about the ketogenic diet and you think it could be great, probably not the best approach for you. If you're somebody who loves a sweet tooth, and you're trying to go on, I don't know, a vegan diet, again, may not be the best approach for you. You need to have a plan that you actually enjoy. So at any point in time, if you say to yourself, this diet is way too hard, it doesn't work for me, you need to stop and reflect, because what we're not trying to do is change your diet in the short term. Rather, we want to find an approach that works for you that can be sustained across time. Because we see it all the time. People lose a ton of weight in a very short period of time, only to go back to old habits and subsequently gain the weight back. So part of it is a mindset shift. We want to start small and focus on not so much the weight as much as changing our daily habits. It's the small things that we actually carry, that we can carry across the years, that are going to have the profound effect. So think about, what are the small incremental changes you can make on a global basis? So meaning, what are the small things that you can do and hold over time? Again, that's starting with things that are small, like maybe having a couple glasses of water. It could be making sure you get one green in each day. It doesn't have to be a lot. And again, after 30, 60, 90 days, these small habits, again, they become habituated, and it's not things that you have to think about anymore. And then once you get good with the small habits, then you can layer on things that are more sophisticated. So I've made these mistakes myself. That's why I'm trying to help you guys kind of avoid some of them. But don't go into 2019 thinking you're going to go ketogenic diet for a full 365 days, or you're going to go vegan, or you're going to go raw diet, or carnivore, or whatever it might be. Try and find those small changes that you can make. Again, I think those will have a lot more of a profound long-term impact. Number two, so after we worry about small change, we want to look at meal preparation. So if you follow us on Instagram, you see that every Sunday, Arden and I do our meal prep. It takes about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how efficient you are. But what we effectively do is make Arden is a little bit different. Arden makes her breakfast and her lunch for the week. For myself, I don't eat breakfast, so I make my lunch and dinner for the week. A few things come out of this. When you make your meals, you're less likely to give into indulgences, impulses. Those of us who tend to go out for lunch, go to the grocery store during the week, we tend to be a little bit more impulsive. But if your meals are already laid out for the week, you're going to see a profound sense of self-restraint when it comes to your nutrition, because again, you basically opt out of the decision-making process because your meals are already presented for you. Again, the second piece is, everybody is always the strongest and most resilient with their decision-making at the start of a week. Thursday, Friday, that's when we tend to have what Tim Ferriss calls decision fatigue. We make poor decisions. When you have your Monday to Friday meals prepped in advance, again, it just eliminates the likelihood that you're going to make those poor decisions, and you can essentially put a pretty healthy and impressive meal together early in the week and just kind of set it and forget it. The last piece I like about the meal prep is it saves a lot of money. I was talking to one of my clients who goes out to lunch and sometimes dinner probably 4 to 5 days a week, and he says he's spending over $200 per week. If you're not living in Toronto or Vancouver, that's the kind of thing that if you and your partner add that up, that's a mortgage payment each month just in food alone. So meal prep can save you a ton of money on that front. So meal prep, I think if you can, every week, I like Sunday, whatever day works for you, but if you can start to make that a habit, will be one of the biggest things you can do to improve your diet and lifestyle, okay? Again, you can't just throw a bunch of pizza slices in some boxes and call them Monday through Friday. You have to be a little bit more thoughtful, but yeah, it's a real simple way to get a big bang for your buck in terms of your nutrition. Next at it, don't go at it alone. So what do I mean by that? Roommate, wife, girlfriend, husband, whatever it might be, if you can get more people into the diet strategy, it makes it way easier. When you prepare a nice healthy meal for yourself and you look across the table at your partner eating Cheetos and whatever candies they indulge in, it can make the process so much more difficult. But if your partner is bought in, committed, aligned with your goals, it's going to make the nutrition journey way easier. For me, I know having Arden, who is super strict and diligent with her eating, but also allowing a little bit of wiggle room works for me. So have a partner. They're going to keep you accountable on those days where you're feeling like you may fall off the wagon, and you can be there for them when, they have the corresponding feelings. So just to recap, so far we have start small. Small changes over time start to layer on more habits. 2, prep your meals. You're going to eliminate the likelihood you're going to make poor decisions. You're going to save some money, and you're going to have a lot more consistency in your diet. Number 3, don't go at it alone. The more people you can get involved and invested in you and your goals, the better long-term success you're going to have with your diet. And number 4, this is a big one. Track your food for 90 days. So what do I mean by track your food? You can use apps on your smartphone like MyNet Diary or MyFitnessPal. And basically you log in all the foods you eat in a given day. And basically the app compiles all that data and tells you how much protein, how much fat, and how many carbohydrates you're consuming in a given day, and the total calories you're consuming in a day. Why do I think this is important? Well, first of all, it gives you an awareness of how many calories go into each food that you eat. And for a lot of people, it can be quite surprising to find out that the only thing that kept you from your weight loss goals the year prior was that handful of salted nuts you had before bed each night. Again, there are certain foods that have very, very high caloric intake that you just don't realize until you put them into one of these apps. That small food that you have 2 or 3 times a week is basically ruining your diet. So if you can record effectively for 90 days, you will have a very strong understanding of which foods are helping, which foods are hurting in terms of your caloric intake. And I think that in itself is invaluable. So if you can make it at least 30 days, I know it's tough for some people to push for the full 90, you'll still get an appreciation for the caloric intake in certain foods. 90 days might push it to become more of a habit in your lifestyle. I know that this style of dieting isn't for everyone, but I think that everybody should do it at least once. So that's counting your macros or using one of these apps. So those are my 4 tips for improving your diet going into 2019. Start small, incremental changes. Make your meals 1 day a week for at least the work week. Don't go at it alone. Find somebody who can help you with the process and invest in your success. And lastly, track your food for at least 30 to 90 days. And if you guys have any more questions or comments, considerations, you want to share your own experiences, throw them down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say and think. And let's go get after 2019.